Okay guys, so here's the deal. In a previous vlog, I did a sunset time lapse, but I got to the sunset too late. Our goal today is gonna be to take this gorgeous sunset right there and capture that in an amazing time lapse, or try to do an amazing time lapse, but we have to get there early enough. It's gonna be called a race to the sunset. It's 5:30 right now. The sun should set at about 7:30. I want to make sure I get to a great spot at least by 6:15 to make sure I have enough time to set the camera up and to make sure we have enough footage to capture the sunset before it sets. I'm probably gonna do a 4-second interval, so we'll see what this looks like. Okay, so it's 6 o'clock now. Now my plan is I'm thinking I can head down to Great Kills Park, which is on the eastern end, kind of mid-shore of Staten Island. It's not too far from my house. Now here's the thing, the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Now the park is on the water, but it's facing the east, so obviously we can't do a sunset while the sun's setting the opposite side. So I'm thinking I can do a shot on the other side, obviously, where there's a little lake or a pond. Let's check this out, see what it looks like. What is going on? What are all of these? Does anyone know what kind of birds these are? Oh, someone's behind me. Look at all these birds. They just keep going. And then there's some geese. It's pretty insane. Okay, so we're at the spot that I think is going to work. Let me turn you guys around here. So this is what I'm thinking we're gonna be working with here. I think it's a pretty good view. So I think the most gorgeous part of this area right now is just the way that the sun is hitting the water. It's just one straight line. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now I think I would actually have to be, I'm gonna try and line the shot up to just to be one singular path, but I might have to be somewhere that way to do that. We'll see what that looks like, but it's just, I mean, remove the time lapse. Just this view here is just absolutely phenomenal. This is what it's all about. I mean, when I tell you the weather's gorgeous out, you can't describe it. It's 70 degrees. It just makes you happy. Like this weather, this is the type of weather that just gets you excited to be alive. People are out, they're riding bikes, they're spending time with their family, they're taking pictures. This is life as it is. Like this is what you live for. This stuff right here. I mean, absolutely. Birds are out. I mean, spring. You can't help but smile when you look at something like that. I'm sorry, you can't help but smile. People everywhere. What else can you say? So yesterday when I was setting up my camera equipment for the clip of the sunset that you saw yesterday, the time-lapse sunset that you saw yesterday, while I was setting up my camera equipment, I met a man, and I'm not going to use his name out of respect for him, we'll just call him Mike, and I met Mike, And while I was setting up my camera equipment, he was a few cars away from me. It was a row of cars sort of looking around the water. And he was on the phone and he was having an argument with someone on the phone. And the argument was getting pretty heated. And at that point I didn't talk to him. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what he was about. I was getting visibly and very upset. He got off the phone and then he left. And maybe 5-10 minutes later, he came back and he pulled up next to my car. And at that point, I had the camera already set up. It was shooting the still images, and everything was set to go. He pulls out a chair from his car to watch the sunset, and he makes a comment, says, "Hey, hey, what are you doing? What kind of pictures are you taking?" So we started talking about my time lapse and the photography that I was doing, and the conversation went on for 2 hours. It was this 2-hour beautiful conversation about life, his story, my story, his struggles, what he's been going through. And the whole time we're standing down, and there's just this gorgeous sunset. One of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen in my life. And the time lapse that I'm taking is not going to do it justice. I messed up some of the settings. But it was just, here's a man that I may have prejudged, not knowing him with the circumstances that happened before. And then getting to know him and talking to him, he was one of the most kind, gentle people, respectful people I'd ever met in my life. And we had this 2-hour conversation, and there was something very incredible about it. It was raw, it was real, and right in the background we have this gorgeous sunset. And it annoyed me at one point because here I am, I'm 10 minutes away from my house. And I have been missing out on that. On this beautiful, it was like someone just painted the sky. It was like out of a Bob Ross painting. Someone just slapped on the colors. And here it was, 10 minutes away from my house, and I've been missing this for years. I feel like I hadn't been experiencing life, and like that was it. Like, this is what life was all about, was the moment of sharing our experiences, sharing our life story, sitting out, 70-degree weather, on the water, watching this gorgeous sunset with a man that I had met 20 minutes ago. I ended up speaking for 2 hours. It was one of the most positive experiences I have ever had. And I'm sitting right now on the water, right now, and I have the sun in my eyes. I'm going to try the time-lapse again, because I think I can get the settings a little bit closer. What happened was, when I did the first time-lapse, my camera died. So there's a jump between frames. It looks kind of silly. But I'm back here, and if there's one thing that these vlogs have forced me to do, these vlogs have forced me to experience life. And I think that's the most beautiful part. And I may have touched on this in a previous vlog, but this experience of just meeting this man, talking to this man for 2 hours, hearing his stories while enjoying one of the most beautiful sights I've ever seen in a place where I live, 10 minutes away from my house, was beautiful and also very frustrating to know that this is what I've been missing out. But beautiful that it was experienced now, and I'm going to experience that for the future, to have that memory. So right now, we're going to set up the camera, and we'll see what we can get. We gotta just try it out. It's all about trying it out. It's all about figuring out what I've said before, figuring out what works, what doesn't work. It's still a process. I'm still learning this stuff. But I just wanted to share that stat with you, because I felt, if I'm going to be doing these vlogs, this was something as a direct result of these vlogs. So I feel like, this is information that you guys deserve to hear. But man, that was it. What a beautiful experience to have. I'm gonna have that memory for as long as I can. He's moving upstate soon, so I'm not gonna get a chance to probably see him again. But just to have that experience with him, life happening all around us, and it's happening right now. It's just a beautiful moment.